Hi guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I just want to talk today about something that happened to me last night, which I thought was pretty fairly profound. It's quite late. I didn't go to bed till about 2:30 this morning, so I was up in my kitchen having a beer, watching YouTube, going down various different rabbit holes that I do, and I got a message from a guy in Canada. He'd left a comment on the first video that I made about being 40 and life's a struggle, that sort of stuff. So yeah, that I was amazed that someone in Canada had seen my video. I didn't, had no idea that the content would go that far, sort of thing, on the other side of the world. So yeah, the power of YouTube is fantastic. And he'd sent me quite a lengthy message. I'll see if I can. I'll read it out to you. I mean, this guy's he's from Quebec originally, so people from Quebec, their native language is French. But he wrote me this really long message in English, and this message hasn't got any punctuation in it, so I'm going to try and read it out and make it make sense, if you know what I mean. So I'll just read this message out, and this is him replying to the first video that I made, talking about my problems in life. So he starts off by saying, "It's the same thing in Canada. It got so bad since that funny Chinese disease, I won't say the name of it. It got so bad since that happened, and the government flooding the country with millions of immigrants every year since 2017 to keep wages low, cheap labour." And then he says, "I'm from Calgary, Canada, but originally from Quebec. Since the cost of living doubled in the last 3 years, all my friends went back to other provinces to be close to their family. And now I have no friends around anymore, and like you, I lost my father last September and couldn't go and see him or attempt to go to the funeral, which completely broke me, and having to explain that to my family, I doubt they understood. So I have to carry the judgment, and not to get to say goodbye to my father has made me very depressed and suicidal, because I don't see things getting any better anytime soon. I'm a carpenter, used to make good money, but since that funny Chinese disease happened, it made me go through all my savings, and now it's impossible to save any money, and for me it's very miserable. Life is very miserable. Never know when I'm going to end up on the street. It's really stressful. I'm not writing on here to get pity, it's just that the reality that I'm trying to push through every day, but it's hard, and I'm afraid my suicidal thoughts would win really soon. But yeah, being a carpenter, I used to make a good living, and it was good, even when you live alone. And yeah, not having a girlfriend is even harder. No one to talk to. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Thanks for your video. And not to minimise your situation, but I wish I had wife and kids. It would make my life way easier. But being 50 years old in this situation, it's really hard to meet someone. I wish I wasn't so picky on finding someone and focus on that instead of my work. Thanks for your video. I feel less a failure knowing it's not just me that's having a hard time with this new world we're living in." So yeah, that was the message from this guy called Pascal from Canada. So yeah, late last night I read this, and when I read that message, there was one word that really stood out to me. I touched on it briefly in the first of these little therapy videos that I've done. I talked about my dad, and how his dad had taken his own life. So yeah, the word that stood out to me on Pascal's message was suicide, suicidal thoughts. Um, it's still a very taboo subject, and it's happening more and more at the moment because of what's going on in the world. A lot more people, more and more people are having very dark thoughts. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about that today. It's obviously a subject that's had quite a massive impact on my family. My granddad killed himself. Um, my other granddad on my mum's side um, technically didn't kill himself, but he was very messed up from the war as well, fighting the Japanese hand-to-hand combat in the jungle in Burma. So he killed a lot of Japanese soldiers with his bare hands and machetes, that sort of thing. And in the early 70s, before I was born, um, he basically just drank himself to death. So yeah, technically he killed himself as well. Um, when my dad died, I was going through the attic in his house, just trying to clear out a lot of junk. Because people his generation they never threw anything away, they kept everything. I mean, I must have thrown away about 9 broken DVD players. That's just obsolete crap, basically. And I found some old hard drives, some old hard disk drives, and I plugged one of them into my computer. I was going through the files on it, and there was one file where my dad had sort of written down some of his thoughts and stuff that he'd never told anybody, um, which I was pretty taken aback by, because in one of these files he talked about when he was in his early 20s, and he was having very dark thoughts, and he didn't go into too much detail about it because he said that he didn't like talking about it at all. It was very haunting for him, and from what I gather, he'd sort of tried to take his own life on 2 occasions, but he didn't go into the details, so I don't know how or why or how any of that came about, but I never got to talk to him about that, which is a shame. And from my own personal experiences, when I briefly moved back to the UK after 4 years in France, I got heavily into the drug scene and that sort of stuff. I touched on that in the video Debt Struggles. And I got into loads of shit. I was abusing drugs a lot, which has a massive impact upstairs. Got into some debt. Started getting death threats from some scary people. And so yeah, I was having really, really dark thoughts, and it was getting worse and worse. And one day out of the blue, my dad phoned me up, and this was like on a Tuesday morning. He never phoned me up on a Tuesday morning. We'd speak regularly. He was already living in France. He was retired in France then, and we'd normally talk on a Sunday night, talk about what we'd done in the week, that sort of thing. And as I was going through some really, really dark ideas in my head, I was getting that close to doing something very, very regrettable. You know, I was a stone's throw away from sort of doing it, type thing. And my phone rang, and it was my dad. And he could tell by the tone of my voice that I was very, very unhappy. And I explained the whole situation to him, and explained that what was going through my mind and what I was thinking about doing. And when I started talking about that, uh, his whole demeanour on the phone completely changed. He knew exactly what I was talking about, and he gave me some really good advice. He told me basically just to fuck it all off and just do a runner. You know, leg it back to France, which is exactly what I did. I was back on the ferry that evening, rather than waiting around and mulling over my dark thoughts, sort of thing. So yeah, I did that. And my dad helped me. He helped me get through that period of my life in a big way. I'm still here today. So so yeah, it's a very hard thing to deal with. It's a very hard thing to talk about, especially when you're by yourself. Like the guy that sent me the message yesterday, Pascal. You know, He lives by himself, from what I gather. He's got no girlfriend, no kids, no family, that sort of thing. So yeah, he's obviously going through some fairly dark thoughts. So after reading his message, I sent him a message straight back. I thought, I can't not reply to this. I can't let it slip through the cracks. So I messaged him back, sent him my email address, and in the email that I sent to him, I said, look, I'll send you my phone number, add me into your contacts on WhatsApp, and we'll have a chat. We'll have a video chat, just in private. We'll talk about anything. It's not a problem. So that's what he did. He added me into his contacts. I phoned him up, and we had a good chat. Had a good chat last night. Couldn't chat for too long because it was already about 2:30 in the morning at this point. Sort of 6 in the evening where he was. There's quite a difference in time zones. So yeah, we just had a good chat about things. I think it did him some good, and vice versa. It did me some good. Just to sort of, like I've said before, the best form of therapy is talking to people. You can't underestimate it enough, or overstate it. I don't know how you want to talk about it. But yeah, so we just chatted about just life in general, really. We had this conversation in French. It's probably a bit easier for him. He obviously speaks good English, but I'm fluent in French, so it's not a problem for me to talk to him in French. Even though he's got a very strong accent. People from Quebec, it's a very unique French accent. It's completely different to any accent you'll hear in France. So it took me a minute or two just to sort of get my head around it and get on the right wavelength. But we had a really good chat in French on WhatsApp, and we'll be having more chats. Because when you're going through these dark times, just having someone to talk to, doesn't matter who it is. I find it's better when it's someone that you don't know, because there's no judgment, like I've said before, and I find it easier. It's easier to talk to people that you've only just met, sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, you've got to, if you're going through these dark times, dark thoughts going around in your head, just try and find someone to talk to. And if like me, if you're sort of really close to doing something that's very bad, try and just put it off till tomorrow. Just say, look, give yourself an excuse. Go out, go for a walk, get outside, get some fresh air, and just try and put it off. Just say, look, I'll do it tomorrow, sort of thing. And then tomorrow will come round. Do the same thing again. Go outside. Try and interact with people if you can. Try and find someone to talk to. Doesn't matter who it is. You might just be down the park and you bump into an old lady on the park bench. Just start chatting to her. Old people love to talk, especially if they're by themselves. You can't shut them up normally. And it'll do you good. It'll do you good just to talk to someone. And then the next day will come, and just keep doing that. Just keep putting it off till the next day and the next day. And by doing that, things change. Your situations change in life. You might meet someone. You might, if you're a guy, you might meet a nice girl that you can connect with, or just making a new friend somewhere. And it could even be just a friend online or whatever. Having video chats and stuff like that. So yeah, just keep putting it off. There's always tomorrow. You can always put off doing these things. Going through with your dark thoughts. There's always a way around it. There's a solution to every problem. I know it's hard when you're going through this kind of crap. When you're in the depths of despair. you know, you can. It's very easy to think that there isn't a way out and there isn't a solution, but trust me, there is. There is always a solution to every problem that exists in life. You've got to just got to keep on that sort of mindset. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having another chat with Pascal. Um, you know, he seems like a really nice guy. It's a shame that you know he hasn't he hasn't got a wife and a kids. I feel really sorry for him. You know, the human race, we're a very sociable species. We're not meant to be alone. Um, we need to be around other people, and by doing these little videos I'm doing, building a community, um, you know, just want to help people. I just want to let people know that you know you're not going through this crap by yourself. There are people out there that will listen. Doesn't matter what your problems are. You know, we're all in this together. So I'll I'll leave you with that sort of thought. If you're going through these sort of things, you know, reach out to me. Send me a message. I'll message you straight back. Um, like with Pascal, I'll send you my phone number. We'll have a chin wag. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. I don't sleep that much anyway. I'm a bit of an insomniac these days, so I'm normally up late at night or whatever. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I'll I'll phone you up and we'll have a chat. You can talk about anything you want, anything. Doesn't matter. So yeah. Thanks once again for watching. Thanks for leaving the comments. Thanks for subscribing. I'm getting more and more subscribers every day, which is brilliant. Um, just sort of validates what I'm doing. Uh, it's nice to know that people are watching these videos from all around the world. The power of YouTube is unbelievable. The reach that it's got. So yeah, thanks once again, and don't hesitate to contact me. Yeah, I'm always open for a discussion. We can talk. Not a problem. I love talking to people. So I'll let you crack on with your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay? All right. Take care. Bye bye.